Can everybody see my slide that's up here? The one with all the question marks on it? I hope.
Crack me up.
All right. What we're going to talk about today, and I know I said we were going to continue some on balancing last week, but I thought that I had a thought cross my mind about how do you tell the difference between a bid that means your partner is just competing and when he's really interested in going on. A lot of this is subject to partnership agreement, as always, but there are ways of doing it, and I don't believe we've talked about help suit game tries or maximal doubles before, and we'll get into that just a little bit. That's not going to be the main purpose for this morning, but I thought I would introduce the concept because those of you who are with me on Thursday mornings in Beyond Beginning Bridge using 2/1, after our next lesson, finishing up the 2/1, our one after that is going to be on targeted game invitations, which is a form of a help suit game try. So I think you will find this interesting and helpful, and it will help you understand why it can be so useful to you and your partner. The reason for a lot of what we call bidding snafus at the table is simply a matter of misunderstanding the intent of your partner's bid. It involves whether partner's bid is forcing sometimes, but usually in that situation, when the partners get together and they talk about it, those kinds of things can be resolved and then they occur less frequently. But there are many types of bidding mix-ups that get missed because they are less obvious that that's what the problem is on the hand. One of these types of mix-ups is trying to determine whether a partner's bid is corrective, meaning he's just trying to improve a part score contract. He's not moving forward. He's just trying to find the best place to pass or the safest place to pass. Or whether it's forward going, meaning that he's made the bid in an effort to find a possible game or slam contract. I've got some examples here that will show the differences between these two types. Corrective bids. Now, those of you who know anything at all about one no trump forcing will recognize this auction right here. North opens a spade, South bids one no trump, which if you play 2/1 is forcing. North responds here 2 diamonds, which may be only a 3-card fragment when you play forcing one no trump, and then South bids 2 spades. How can we tell that this is not forward going? Well, ask yourself a question. How many spades does South have? Can he possibly have 3 spades? Anybody have a thought?
Yes, he can.
What would he bid if he had 3 spades here?
He can bid, if he only has 5 to 6 points, he can say 1 no with
Yes.
3.
That is a possible agreement with one no trump forcing. Most of the people I know like to bid 2 spades immediately because of its preemptive effect. It makes it much more difficult for the opponents to get into the auction. When you play the way Janet describes, it means you play constructive raises. It means that 1 spade, 2 spades promises 8 points. If you bid one no trump and then bid 2 spades, you either have only 2 spades and 6 to 9 points, or you could have 3 and only 6 or 7 points. This is a matter of how you play one no trump forcing. For most of the people I know, this denotes 2 spades only, simply because most people would rather raise to 2 spades immediately to try to keep the opponents out of the auction. There's a reason that the people who own the spades often own the hand, and that's because it's the master suit. It's the highest ranking suit. And so when you can push the bidding all the way to 2 spades, it makes it really hard for the person sitting in the 4th seat here. In this case, that would be West or I'm sorry, West passed initially. That would be East to come into the bidding at the 3 level. When you have found a fit at the 2 level and passed, it makes it harder for your opponents to find a fit in that situation. So South has limited his hand to 6 to 9 points here, hasn't he? Or if you play 2 over 1, it's 6 to 11, but his failure to bid 3 spades on his second turn or to bid 2 no trump says he does not have 10 or 11 points. He has, this bidding limits his hand to 6 to 9 points. So North knows unless he has at least an invitational hand, no game is possible. And so this is not a forward going bid. In this instance, most of the time South will have taken a preference with only 2 spades in his hand. Now, here's another one that's a little more complicated. West opens a spade and North overcalls 2 diamonds. East bids 2 spades, South bids three diamonds, West bids 3 spades. What is this bid? Is this competitive or is this a real invitation? Here's where we're going to talk a little bit about help suit game tries or the maximal double. Either one of them, once there's been a fit found by a pair, like 1 spade, 2 spades, by opener and responder, if opener has an invitational, meaning 16, 17, or 18 point hand or better, in the past, he would have bid 3 spades to invite. But there's a little trick called help suit game tries that helps the pairs decide how well their hands fit together. A game try is made at the 3 level following suit agreement. It is never an offer to play in that suit because we've established that spades are the trumps here. Let's say that West had bid 3 hearts here instead of 3 spades. That bid would be called a help suit game try. It would show a hand that's at least invitational. Well, it's not game going or he'd have bid 4 spades, obviously. It's at least invitational, though it's not minimum. The bid of 3 spades makes this a competitive bid, not a forward going bid. Let's say that West did not have room to bid another suit. Let's say the opponents were bidding hearts instead of diamonds, and he had no room to bid a help suit at the 3 level, then he would haul out the double card. This is called the maximal double, and it's the same thing, saying, hey, I have enough that I'm seriously interested in game and spades over here. Either bid 3 spades if you're minimum for your raise, or go on to 4. So this kind of auction among intermediate or better players is competitive only. In other words, West may have made this bid knowing that he's likely to go off a trick. Who knows? Maybe he has 6 spades and he knows his partner has 3, and he says, hey, well, we have 9 trumps. I'm going to bid to the 3 level. But even if he has only 5 trumps, he's willing to go off 1 here rather than let the opponents play 3 diamonds. So East should not raise in this kind of auction when you have agreed to use one of those bids I just talked about. In the future, I would like to get into that a little bit because they're very, very useful bids. When you just use the agreed upon trump suit for invitations, unless you need help specifically in the trump suit, like you had to open a suit that was jack high and you need help in the trump suit badly, then usually you need help in one of the side suits. You bid the suit that needs help, asking partner if he has help for you. And when we talk about that, we'll talk about what constitutes help and specifically how to do it. But in general, this kind of bidding is merely competitive. Now, here's another classic corrective action. North opens a club, South bids a spade, North rebids one no trump, and South bids two spades. This is a minimum hand that South has here. He has a 5 or 6 card spade suit. Most of the time that should be a 6 card suit. He knows partner should have 2 spades for his no trump bid, but you know, we all get caught sometimes. He could have 5 clubs, 4 diamonds, 3 hearts, and a stiff spade in his hand and bid the same way here. But most of the time, partner will have 2 spades in his hand. So if South is really pressed for a bid, he might rebid a 5 card major suit here. I've heard people say, well, you know, you don't hesitate to transfer when you have only a 5 card major suit. But the difference is my partner opened a no trump. He has at least 15 high card points. The most I can count on North to have here is 12. So that makes me want to have 6 cards in my suit here as South when I rebid it. I may be up against the wall and really need to tell my partner, no, you're not going to like my hand for no trump because you're not liable to be able to get over here. I think we need to play spades. This is one of the absolute weakest bids that responder can make. Bidding and rebidding his suit denotes weakness. 6 to 9 points at the most, at the absolute most. If he had a true weak jump shift, he would go 1 club, 2 spades, saying, partner, I have 2 to 5 points and I'm too weak to bid 1 spade. I want to play 2 spades, period. And partner should respect his choice. Note that's not a forcing bid. Yes, it's a new suit by a responder who may not have passed, but it's not a bid at the cheapest level. In order to be forcing, responder's bid has to be at the cheapest level. So 1 club, 2 spades is not forcing by responder. Does everybody see the difference? When South bids 1 spade, it is forcing because it's at the cheapest level. But when he jumps to 2 spades, unless you play strong jump shifts by responders, it is not forcing. It is a weak bid, and that's the way most people play it these days. This is a corrective action. He's not inviting you to go on in spades at all. He's saying, my hand is weak, and I have more than 4 spades, partner. I think we need to play it here. Notice that if he had more points, say if he had a 5 card spade suit, he would bid 2 diamonds using new minor forcing to find out whether opener has 3 card support for him. If he had an invitational hand with 6 spades, he would jump to 3 spades. In other words, he has other bids available to him if he has a 5 or 6 card suit and a better hand. This denotes a weak hand with 5 or 6 spades in it. Now, here's another purely corrective auction. This one's a little bit harder to understand. West opens a club, East bids 1 spade, West rebids 1 no trump, and now East bids 2 hearts. This is a new suit by East. He's still unpassed. Is this a forcing bid? Does anybody think that this 2 heart bid here is forcing?
No,
Why isn't it forcing?
because 1 no trump was invitational.
1 no trump limited West's hand. Once West has limited his hand, the only way that East can force is by using something like new minor forcing. That's why we have to have new minor forcing, is because the bid of a new suit following a 1 no trump rebid isn't forcing. So this is purely corrective. He shows 5 spades and 4 hearts and is asking partner to choose one. Choose hearts by passing or correct to 2 spades is what he would like to do. Responder's bid here isn't forcing because West limited his hand by bidding no trump. If he had rebid 2 clubs, then East bid is forcing. He can't pass 2 hearts. But in this case, by bidding 1 no trump, he says, my hand is 12 to 14 points, partner. That's all. And I don't have 4 spades with you. East is showing partner what he has here. I have 5 spades and 4 hearts. Remember, if he had 4 hearts and 4 spades, he would bid differently, wouldn't he? He'd start with hearts. Then when partner bids 1 no trump, East knows that West doesn't have 4 spades, because West should never jump over 4 spades to bid 1 no trump. So then he can pass 1 no trump. But West might well have had 4 hearts in his hand and not be strong enough to reverse. So he has to rebid 1 no trump. And he says, well, just in case, partner, I happen to have 5 spades and 4 hearts. Does this work better for you? West should make a choice. East's bid is not forcing, so he needs to make a choice. If he bids 2 no trump, East has not promised enough points that they have a chance of being successful in 2 no trump. Remember, 2 no trump requires 22 or 23 high card points. East has not promised 10 points on this auction. Maybe West has 14, but East could still have only 6 or 7, and we would be short for 2 no trump. So this bidding asks West to pick between East's 2 suits. Now, if East had a better hand, once again, new minor forcing, it would be the perfect bid here. 2 diamonds by East would ask West to show his major suit holdings. Now, whether he shows 3 card support 4 spades, or whether he shows a 4 card heart suit here on this auction first, is a matter of partnership agreement. People play it both ways. New minor forcing will uncover a major suit fit if East has an invitational hand at least. He has to have an average of 11 points to make that bid. Because if there is no match, you're going to end up in at least 2 no trump, and that requires 23-ish points to have a shot. That's why new minor forcing requires an invitational hand, because you may not find a fit. And you have to be prepared to play 2 no trump in case you don't find a fit. So you can uncover a 5-3 spade fit or a 4-4 heart fit if you have an invitational level hand by using new minor forcing. When you have only a minimum responding hand, this is the way you have to bid. And it asks West to make a choice. This is purely a corrective auction here, not forward going. Does everybody understand why this is not a forward going auction here? Does anybody have any questions?
Yes, I do, Susan. You said if West comes back and says 2 no, how many points did you say he had to have? Did you say 22?
But no. Between the 2 hands, you have to have 22 points.
Oh, okay.
To be successful at 2 no trump. I'm sorry, I didn't make that very clear. It requires combined 22 to 23 between the 2 hands in order for 2 no trump to be a successful part score. Anybody else have a question?
I do. So this says it's purely corrective. Responder's bid is not forcing, but yet you're saying opener should make a choice.
Yes.
So I'm kind of confused by that. Why should opener make
hearts by passing, and he chooses spades by bidding 2 spades? That makes sense? If he likes hearts better, he passes. Maybe he has only 1 spade. We don't know. He says he has a balanced hand. But we all know that sometimes we have to bid 1 no trump when we don't really want to. If he likes hearts better, he should pass 2 hearts. If he has 2 spades, he should correct to 2 spades. And East will play a 5-2 fit. If he bids 2 no trump here, he's showing more points than he showed with his first bid here. Because this auction promises only 6 to 9 points by East. If he had more than that, he would use new minor forcing to try to uncover a major suit fit. But this is the only option left to him when he doesn't have an invitational hand. That means that he takes corrective action over this one no trump and asks partner to make a choice between his two suits. If he had better, he would bid 2 diamonds, saying, I have an invitational hand and I want to know, do you have 4 hearts or do you have 3 spades? If you don't have either one, we're safe in 2 no trump. But with a minimum hand here opposite a minimum no trump rebid, there aren't enough points in general. I suppose if you have 14 and 9, you have 23. But most generally, if you need your partner to have 14, he's only going to have 12. And if you have 14 and you need your partner to have 9, he's only going to have 6. At least that's the way my life goes. I cannot count on my partner to have the maximum for his bid when I need him to, because odds are very good that he doesn't have it. He does have a 5-card spade suit, but that doesn't mean that he has the number of high card points that I need him to have. Does that help, Penny?
Yes, enough.
No,
Thank you.
honest. I could hear your voice. Your voice had a distinct waver to it.
No, I was good until you said 2 diamonds would be so different than 2 hearts, but that's okay. Go on, really.
2
Go on.
diamonds would be new minor forcing. Remember?
Oh,
new,
that's right. That's right. That's
one of a minor, one of a major, 1 no trump, 2 of the other minor.
okay. I got it. You don't need to go anymore. Thank
Okay. All righty. Good deal. Anybody else have a question? Okay. Now let's talk for a minute about what a forward-going auction looks like. We talked about when opener rebids no trump. This is a little different. North has rebid his suit. Now, when opener rebids no trump and responder has a weak distributional hand, then responder should take corrective action and try to play in the weaker hand's long suit. In general, when you have one hand that has a fair number of points in it, at least enough to open, and you have another hand that is weaker but has a long suit in it, it is often better to let the weaker hand play in his long suit. Because in general, you're only going to be successful when that long suit is trumps, because that may be the only way you can get to responder's hand when he's very weak. So when you're playing no trump and you have a responder's hand that has very, very few points in it, it can be very hard to get over there to take a finesse. I'm sure you have all had experience playing no trump contracts when the dummy has no entries and you have to play it out of your hand, and it isn't fun. You can't take a finesse. You just have to lead your high cards from your hand, or you have to lead a low card and give up a cheap trick. It's just not often successful to play no trump when you have a responder's hand that has a long suit in it. That's the idea behind transfers. The no trump hand plays it through the use of a puppet bid, which is basically what a transfer is. Responder jerks a string and opener puppets or mimics the answer that he wants. So in this case, we have a forward-going situation here because the north hand has shown a source of tricks. When South rebids his hand, he shows 6 cards in the suit and more than just 6 points. With a really weak hand, he should pass 2 clubs. When he has a really, really weak hand, he should pass 2 clubs here. But he has a right to tell North that he has 6 spades, not just 4. Not just 4. And he does that in the hope of finding an 8-card major suit fit. he doesn't have the luxury of looking for that 8-card major suit set when he has 6 points. When he has 6 points, he generally needs to pass 2 clubs. But this is not a forcing bid here by South, but it is constructive. In other words, if North has some shape, and he should, you know, that 2-club bid should indicate a 6-card suit, or it may be a 5-card suit if there's nothing else available to him. Sometimes we have to rebid 5-card suits when we don't have another option. South's bid here is constructive. It shows 8 or 9 points because he would pass 2 clubs if he didn't have that many. North can pass because South has rebid his suit, but if he has the right kind of hand, he might raise. So this one is forward going here because North has not really, he's limited his hand to about 12 to 17 points here, maybe 16. With a 6-card suit, he might have jumped in clubs. He didn't jump, but he may have a poor quality 16 and decided it's not worth it. So this is not a drop dead bid because North didn't rebid no trump. Now, North can pass because it's not forcing. This is not a new suit by an unpassed hand, so it's not forcing, but it's a constructive bid because North has shown a hand with a source of tricks in it. And with a weak hand, South would pass. He wouldn't try to improve the contract. In this case, this is similar to the one that went 1 club, 1 spade, 1 no trump, 2 hearts, isn't it? Now then, this time though, West has a long suit of his own that's a source of tricks. This bidding shows 9-ish points. In other words, with a weak hand, he would pass 2 clubs. When East bids 1 spade, if West happens to have 4 hearts in his hand, he has to have enough points to be able to reverse the hand. 1 club, 1 spade, 2 hearts by West is a reverse because the second bid is at the 2 level and it's in a higher ranking suit than the opening bid was. This bidding shows about 9 points with 5 or more spades and 4 or more hearts, longer spades than hearts, in other words. This, though, is forward going because we don't have a need to rescue partner. He's got his own long suit here. Whether you and your partner need to talk about how you want to bid in this kind of situation, I think in this case that 2 hearts is forcing because it's a new suit. West can rebid 3 clubs or he can raise spades. Now he knows that partner has 5 spades. He can correct that to 2 spades with 3-card support, or he might bid 2 no trump if he has something in diamonds.
Susan, Ella has a question.
All righty, Ella, go right ahead.
To do a reverse, do you need 16 points?
I never reverse without 17 high card points. If
Thank
I
you.
reverse with 16 high card points, my suits are not 5-4, they're 6-5. That's my own rule. You can adopt whatever rule you like, but my requirements for a reverse go down as the length of my 2 suits increases. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you.
Here's another example. 1 diamond. This one is pretty complicated here. 1 diamond by West, 1 spade by East, 2 diamonds by West, 2 no trump by East. What do these rebids by opener mean? Well, if he rebids 3 clubs, he shows 6 diamonds and 4 clubs and says, I don't like the idea of no trump here. My hand is not no trumpy. I don't think no trump will make. So I'm offering you a choice. Do we play 3 clubs or do we play 3 diamonds? If he rebids 3 diamonds, That's a minimum opener with 6 or more diamonds, and he does not like the idea of no trump for whatever reason. Maybe he doesn't have a club stop or a heart stop. East may or may not have one here. He doesn't have a 4-card heart suit to show, and he doesn't have more than 4 spades here. It's unlikely that he has more than 4 spades. So West thinks that diamonds is the better contract here if he rebids 3 diamonds. Now, if he bids 3 hearts, he's accepting the invitation to game here. 2 no trump is inviting 3, isn't it? 2 no trump is not a destination bid. 2 no trump is forward going, but never forcing. West could pass 2 no trump with an appropriate no trump hand and a minimum opener. He's showing 4 hearts, 6 diamonds, and who knows what else here. Well, I don't know where I got that 1444 or 0454 shape. Well, 0454 shape might be possible in that he had to rebid diamonds because the heart bid would have been a reverse here. So 3 hearts accepts the invite and shows 4 hearts and a reasonable hand. 3 spades also accepts the invite to game, but it shows 3-card spade support and says, do you want to play 3 spades or do you want to play 4? This shows something like 3, 1, 5, 4, 5 diamonds, 4 clubs. Notice he could have difficulty here on his rebids with some of these oddly shaped hands. Sometimes you have to rebid a 5-card minor suit because to bid anything else would be a reverse. And you don't want to reverse when you don't have the points to do so, because reversing is a 1-round force and can force a weak hand too high. East has shown at least 10 points here, though, with 2 no trump. So now this 2 no trump bid gives West an opportunity to show 3-card spade support. This is called a delayed raise rather than a direct raise. If he had bid 2 spades immediately following East's 1 spade bid, that would promise 4-card support, wouldn't it? When he waits 1 round of bidding to raise, it shows 1 card fewer. So the bid of 3 spades here shows 3-card spade support. If partner happens to have 5, then he can bid 4 spades. Or if he doesn't want to play the 4-3 fit, he can bid 3 no trump. Correcting partner's no trump to opener's long suit is corrective only. But bidding partner's first bid suit shows at least a partial fit. Bidding a new major suit is in the hopes that maybe you have a potential fit in that suit, is forward going here. 3 hearts is forward going and forcing. 3 spades shows a partial fit, is forward going. But this is because opener corrected no trump to a new major suit. If he corrects it to his own minor, it is just corrective. This gets a little bit hard to fathom, doesn't it? The idea is that if I just rebid my minor suit, then I'm saying, I don't care that you have spades. I don't want to play no trump. My hand is not suitable for no trump. I have a long string of diamonds with an opening hand, and that's about all I can say. That's the difference. Now, going through a lot of these kinds of auctions can be extremely, extremely tedious. And probably is something that only committed partnerships are going to do. But if you and your partner are serious about reducing your number of bidding snafus and you're trying to bid more effectively, it can be well worth the time spent. Remember, The game is more fun when you and your partner are on the same page and things go well. A certain number of bidding snafus have to be expected because given the nature of the game and how complicated it can be, but you'll like your results better if you work together. Now, I finished pretty early this morning. I thought I would leave time for questions about some of the previous subjects that we have done, or this one even as well, unless you need time to think about this one a little bit and know what kind of questions you have. So if anybody has a question, fire away.
Susan,
Yes, ma'am.
this is really elementary, but I get confused. When you have 2 5-card majors and you open, you go spade first and then hearts?
Yes, ma'am. In
And-
fact, you bid your spades, and then if the bidding space permits, you bid hearts twice. That shows at least 5-5 in the major suits, or perhaps 6-5s.
Okay, if you're responding and you have 5-5, you would go hearts and then spades?
No, When you have 4-card majors as responders, you bid up the line. When you have 5 cards in both majors, you start with spades and then bid hearts twice to show 5 of them. Are you going to get a chance to show 5 hearts? Maybe, maybe not. But you start, when you have 5-5, you start with the higher ranking suit, regardless of whether it's both majors or whether it's a major and a minor. You start with the higher ranking one, bid the lower ranking one twice to show 5-5 or maybe 6-5. Does that make sense? It's the same for opener and for responder. It's only when you have 4 cards in your major suits that you bid them up the line.
Thank you. I knew this was very elementary, but I
That's okay.
appreciate it.
It never hurts to review basic concepts, Ella. People forget things like that very easily, so don't apologize. Anybody else have a question?
Yes, I do. This is Patty, and it's very elementary too, I think. But with learning, the 1 no trump forcing and the 2/1, I get a little bit confused when you open a club and your partner bids a diamond or even something else, and you have a balanced hand and you're not going to play in your partner's suit. What 1 no trump means and what 2 no trump means for your rebid.
Let's say that you open a club and your partner bids a diamond. If I'm your partner, if I have a minimum hand, I will bypass 5 diamonds to bid a 4-card major suit, because if I don't get my major suit on the table early, by the time the bidding comes back around to me, I may not have the opportunity to show it. So if I have anything less than an opening hand myself, my initial response is going to be a 4-card major suit, simply because I want to make sure I get it out there. Now, when opener rebids 1 no trump, after following the bid of a major suit by responder, let's say he's opened a club, so no 2/1 response is available. 1 club, 1 heart by responder. 1 no trump says, I don't have 4 hearts, I don't have 4 spades, I don't have 6 clubs, I may have 4 diamonds, but opening a club and rebidding 2 diamonds is a reverse, and I don't have enough points to do that. So I'm in the 12 to 14 point range. I have no support for your major suit. When responder has bid a heart, I have no 4-card spade suit either when I rebid 1 no trump. You never ever bid or rebid no trump covering up a 4-card major suit that you could show. So when you rebid 1 no trump in that instance, you show 12 to 14 points and something resembling a balanced hand.
Okay.
I can construct hands that aren't balanced that would have to rebid 1 no trump or rebid a 5-card minor suit. Sometimes that's not the norm, though. Usually, when you rebid one no trump, it's 12 to 14 points, balanced or at least semi-balanced, and no support for partners major, or not 4-card support for partners major. Now, when you jump to 2 no trump, that shows 18 to 19 points exactly. If you had 15 to 17, you'd have opened 1 no trump, and if you had 20, you'd have opened 2 no trump. So jumping to 2 no trump denies the major suits the same as what 1 no trump does, although I frequently will pass over a 4-card spade suit to bid 2 no trump, because I don't want to rebid 1 spade necessarily. It doesn't convey the strength and nature of my hand accurately. And I have a bid that will help me uncover a spade fit later on down the road. You and your partners, if you don't use check back, might want to bid 1 spade or 2 spades. If you can stretch your hand to 19 points, jumping to 2 spades shows an unbalanced hand in the 19 to 21 point range. And so you might do that. But when my hand is balanced in 18 or 19, I like for my second bid to be 2 no trump. Just my personal preference, Patty. Did that answer?
Okay. Yes, except I think I asked the wrong question about what I was confused about, and I'm embarrassed now. What I actually meant to ask is when the opener opens 1 club or 1 diamond, and
Okay.
responder says 1 no trump, how many points are you showing
As responder or opener?
as responder?
6 to 9.
Okay,
A really ugly flat 10. You might be showing a poor quality 10, and you are denying 4 hearts or 4 spades.
okay. And so if you open 2 no, or if you open 1 club or 1 diamond and bid 2 no trump, how many? 11 or
Now you have the same kind of hand that has no 4-card major suit in it, but you have 11 or 12 points in your hand. A lot of people don't like that because it often wrong sides a no trump contract. But what else are you going to bid if you don't have a 4-card major suit and you have a balanced hand with 11 or 12 points in it? Now, you can't raise a club with 3-card support. I suppose you could, if partner opens a club, rebid a diamond, but I don't know that really accurately conveys anything about your hand. Some people will tell you that having responder bid 2 no trump with an 11 or 12 point balanced hand that contains no 4-card major wrong sides the contract. I don't know that that's necessarily true. I think that's a very descriptive bid. If partner's minimum on 12 or 13, he'll say, oh, don't think so. But if he has 14, he should bid 3 no trump. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
yeah, it does. It makes sense. It just seems like you get kind of in trouble when you have 11 points and bid 2 no
Well,
trump.
if partner doesn't have the 14, I mean, on average, you're showing 11 points when you do that. It's a good 12 to a ratty, a good 10 to a ratty 12, or an average of about 11. So partner should figure you for 11 points with no 4-card major.
Yeah,
And if he has 14, then you have 25 points between you, and you need to be in 3 no trump. But if he doesn't have 14, he probably needs to put down the green card.
okay.
Okay?
All right, thank you very much.
Anybody else have a question?
Susan, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
On one of your earlier slides, you had like 1 diamond, 1 spade, 2 diamonds, 2 spades. You said
Oh.
you had to have 6 spades to do that. There's there. Yeah.
This one, page slide 7.
Yeah. Why do you need, how are you going to show 5 spades?
Well, with 6 to 9 points, there isn't a good bid in standard American bidding to do that. If you and your partner want to say that rebidding spades here promises only 5, then by all means do that. Most people, though, say that the rebid of a suit by either opener or responder promises 6 cards. Now, does that mean you don't ever get backed into a corner and have to rebid a 5-card suit? Absolutely not. Sometimes you have to, but in general, most people will tell you that this shows 6 cards in the spade suit. And at about 9 points, if North has no support at all, if he has 2 spades in his hand and a really minimum opening hand here, like this 2-club rebid would suggest, then he could pass 2 spades without any worries. If he has 3, that's even better. I know John Parrish used to say, he's the one who used to say, well, you transfer to spades or hearts with only 5 cards in a major suit at the 2 level there. But the difference is that your partner opened 1 no trump. He has more points than what the normal opener of one of a minor suit has. This guy may have only 12 high card points or 13. Contrast that with an average 16-point no trump opener. The fewer points you have in your hand, the more cards in your suit you need to have. That's the concept behind preemptive bidding, after all. So, in a partnership that where one of them's opened 1 no trump, and maybe you don't have much of anything at all in your hand, but you do have a 5-card major suit, and partner has at least 2 of them. From that bid that he has at least 2. We do not know that here. North can easily have only 1 spade or might not have any. The kind of hands I've been picking up lately, it'd be my bet that he doesn't have any. But even if he has 2, if South has guaranteed 6 of them, that makes him very comfortable passing 2 spades. Or he might even pass 2 spades, even if South only promises 5. I think this is pretty much a matter of partnership agreement. My partners and I have the agreement that a rebid of a suit by either opener or responder shows 6, except when my back's against the wall. If my back is against the wall, there may be only 5 of them in my hand, and I'm prepared to play a 5-2 fit. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay, so if I only have 5, then say, about how many points do I need to have? If this shows
Well, if you have 9 points, then go ahead and bid 5 if that's your agreement. But if you have 6 points, you need to pass 2 clubs.
Right. Yeah, okay.
Okay. And
Right.
and in between, it's a matter of judgment. What's the quality of your points? Are your values prime or are they clacks? And what's the vulnerability? Yada, 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 yada,
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else have a question? We still have about 10 minutes here.
Susan,
I have,
can you ever just pass that 1 spade? North opens a club and South says 1 spade. Can
No,
North
ma'am.
just pass?
No. That is a new suit by a responder who has not previously passed. His hand is unlimited. He could have 20 points. That's a bid at the cheapest level. South's 1 spade bid here is absolutely forcing for 1 round. Now, after that bid is no longer forcing. It is forward going because with a weak hand, he would pass 2 clubs. It's forward going, but not forcing because he rebid his suit. Remembering, forcing has to be a new suit at the cheapest level by a hand that has not previously passed. This is not a new suit, so 2 spades can be passed. 1 spade cannot. See the difference?
Thank you.
Susan,
Yes, go ahead. Whoever that was, go right ahead.
it's Susie Graves. When we've been playing in the open recently, there were 2 responses to the strong 2 club bids that were a little unusual to me. One was called the broken heart bid, and the other was a weird way to transfer to minors.
over 2 clubs transferring to a minor.
Well, the first one was a broken heart bid, meaning bidding 2 hearts saying, I don't have any aces or kings. What do you think about that?
I don't like it because it steals the dummy if my partner's fixing to rebid hearts.
Okay,
Puts the strong hand on the table. But that doesn't mean that a lot of people don't like it. I mean, not all of your contracts are going to be in hearts, but the most frequent rebid following a 2 club opening is 2 no trump. If you have a negative hand with no aces, kings, or doesn't even have as much as 2 queens, you can pass 2 no trump. If you don't, generally the 2 heart bid means I don't have a control. I don't have an ace, I don't have a king, and I don't have as much as 2 queens in my hand. But if you don't play 2 hearts negatives, which is what a lot of us call it, you can pass 2 no trump. Obviously, if you have a 5-card major suit, you should probably transfer. I have had instances where my partner didn't have a 5-card major suit and I rebid 2 no trump and he put down a hand with 1 jack in it. It's difficult to make 2 no trump in that situation, as I'm sure you can imagine. So that's what the 2 heart bid tells people immediately. Well, if I'm going to rebid 2 no trump, I'm going to rebid 2 no trump. You know? Now, on the other hand, if I rebid a suit, if I was planning to rebid hearts, then I have to bid 3 hearts and my partner will either raise to 4 if they have anything in hearts, or they won't if they don't. But my hand's going to be on the table. Does it happen with a high degree of frequency? No, but I've had the dummy stolen from me twice. And in my book, that's 2 times too many. So I use a second bid of 3 clubs as a second negative, saying, you have 1 more bid, partner. Put it where you want it. That's if my partner has rebid a suit. If he rebids 2 no trump, I pass. If I have a real bust and I can't transfer. But I use the second negative, which is generally the cheaper minor, which is nearly always 3 clubs. And it says the same thing.
but if he opens 2 clubs and you say 2 diamonds, he names his suit or no trump, then you're already back up at 4 clubs, aren't you?
No, 3.
Okay.
If my partner rebids 2 no trump, I pass. If I rebid 2 hearts or 2 spades and my partner bids 3 clubs, well, if I have a suit, I either have 22 plus high card points or I'm within 1 trick of game. So I'm okay at the 3 level, even if partner doesn't have anything. So it's okay if he bids 3 clubs. And then if I rebid my suit, I'm saying, partner, I have 9 tricks with this suit as trumps. If you have shortness anywhere in a couple of my cards, a couple of my trump suits in your hand, you have a trick for me. Please bid 4. So it's not always about high card points when you're talking about a suit. That's the way I do it. But a lot of people use 2 hearts. They do. And if it happens that they end up stealing the dummy, well, it's just like you've got your side's assets out there on the table for everybody to see, and it makes the job a lot easier for the defense when that happens. So that's my personal preference, but there are a lot of good players who use 2 hearts negative. So it's now the one about transferring to a minor over a 2 club opener, I don't know that bid at all. I suppose I don't know what that would denote, frankly. Once in a while.
I think that's over a 2 no trump. Sorry. I think I had my hands mixed up. Sorry.
Yeah. 3 spades is minor suit stamen, generally. And when people bid that, they're usually looking for a minor suit slam.
There are a number of ways to show minors after a 2-0 opener. So, but yeah.
It's not very often that you're looking for a minor suit contract when your partner has opened 2 no trump, but they do exist. So, okay, we've got
Okay,
time for a question if anybody has one.
Susan, here's one that came in the chat.
Okay.
Could you clarify when to use Jacobi 2 no trump convention versus a limit raise?
Sure. Jacobi 2 no trump promises an opening hand. A limit raise promises only a good 10 to a poor quality 12 with 4 card support. Jacobi 2 no trump promises an opening hand. In other words, a hand worth with 12 high card points and maybe a doubleton or something. You have to have an opening hand to use Jacobi 2 no trump. A limit raise you can make with as few as 10 high card points and 4 card support.
Thank you.
Susan, you also said after the Jacobi 2 no that it's alertable, and then any bid after that is alertable?
Openers rebids are also alertable. Yes. Because they don't denote, with the exception of the bid of a suit at the 4 level, it is a real suit there, but it shows a source of tricks. It's not just a second 5 card suit. It's a second 5 card suit that contains a source of tricks. So that should be explained also. A 3 level rebid by opener shows shortness in the suit bid, and that absolutely needs to be alerted.
It just struck me, and having watched a lot of the 0 to 250 games, and in your conversation, you routinely say, oh, an opening hand is 12 points. A lot of the problems these guys get into is they're opening the 11 points and the 10 points with a little distribution. The light openings are causing lots of grief, and it makes some of the conversations you've had and the assertions you make wrong, because they've opened this junk hand, and you've got 11 points, and now you get an invite with 11, and it's just a mess. So I comment about the weak opening.
Well, guys, I open occasional 11-point hands, but I don't open 11 points of junk. I have at least 2 quick tricks in my hand when I open 11-point hands. Some of you are decidedly free with opening 11-point hands. The problem is, if you're going to do that routinely, then you have to adjust the requirements for responder if you're going to be opening 11-point hands all the time. The requirements for responder to make some of these bids are going to go up because you have opened with fewer points than what is normally promised for an opening hand. So you're absolutely right, Don. Hi, this is Susan. Thanks for stopping by the Oklahoma Collective's YouTube channel. Basically, this channel shows recordings of our free 1-hour bridge lessons for advancing players that we offer every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Central Time. If you would like to join us, send your contact information to the email address shown on the screen, and we'll be happy to send you the link. If you would like to follow our channel and be notified when a new recording is uploaded, just click the Oklahoma Collective button below. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.